He will show no regard for the gods of his ancestors. I want you to underline that. The gods of his ancestors. Or for the desired, or he will not have the desire of women. Nor will he regard any god, but will exalt himself above them all. Instead of them, he will honor a god of fortresses, a god unknown to his ancestors. He will honor with gold and silver, with precious stones and costly gifts. He will attack the mightiest fortresses with the help of a foreign god, and will greatly honor those who acknowledge him. He will make them rulers over many people, and will distribute the land at a price. Okay, so there are some characteristics given to us here about the Antichrist, the beast. Once again, what does he do? He speaks blasphemy. His mouth. This is what he's going to be known for, is what comes out of his mouth. Secondly, he has power, and he will be successful for 3.5 years. He will be successful until the time of wrath is what? Completed. Until it's completed. He'll have no regard for the gods of his fathers. All right, this is tricky. Now, my Bible. Do I have any Sheridan Bible College students here tonight? All right, you guys will get this, and I'll work everybody else through it. The NIV and the ESV translate this gods, G-O-D-S, all lowercase, gods of his fathers. Some of the other versions, they will translate it the God of his fathers. So the word here is Elohim. Elohim is plural. So gods, G-O-D-S, is an accurate translation, but context always determines meaning. And so Elohim is the plural of the Semitic word for God, El, E-L. El is God, singular. In the beginning, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, in the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. It is not El. It is not in the beginning, El, God, singular. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. God, plural. Now, as Trinitarian Christians, we recognize the Trinity, the plurality of the Godhead, of who God is. We are not tritheists, we are Trinitarian Christians. So here, the NIV and the ESV, when it translated as G-O-D-S, all lowercase, meaning gods, polytheistic. But context tells us something very different. Elohim is the God of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. This man will have no regard for Elohim, the God of his fathers, once again signifying to us this particular person is Jewish. He's Jewish. He's Jewish. He will have no regard for the God of his fathers. And the God of his fathers is Elohim. That's the word there. It's Elohim. So once again, it helps us to make the case. He's Jewish. Now, what else did we learn about him? He'll have no regard for women, which for a king, what are kings known for? They have harems of women. And many believe that then the Antichrist will be a homosexual. And so whether that is the case or not, or maybe he's just trying to be some high virtuous king, we don't know. But there's a reason that's told to us. There's a lot you can tell about somebody. There's a reason we're told he has no regard for women. And one more thing, he honors a god of the fortress. What is that? That's going to be military might. He is a military leader. And his God is going to be conquest, and he is going to be very successful at that. Now, the Antichrist is not alone in this journey. He's got a partner in crime. He's got some. See, the Antichrist is a counterfeit of the Christ. You have the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Well, you have a counterfeit, the unholy Trinity, the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And so now we're going to turn our attention to the false prophet and help us understand the Antichrist even more. So go back to Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Revelation 13, verse 11 says, "Then," this is John writing, "I saw a second beast coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast." So what is this second beast doing? It is drawing attention to the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. So many believe it is this false prophet that will perform the miraculous of this fatal wound being healed, because it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Now, who was it that called down fire from heaven in the Bible? Elijah. So what is this false prophet trying to mimic? Elijah, who also, just side note, Elijah was the first person in Scripture to resurrect somebody from the dead. So this false prophet is doing what? He's mimicking the prophet Elijah. Verse 14, "Because of the signs, it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast. It deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast, who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast." And we'll address this next week of what that is. "So that image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man. That number is 666. Find it interesting. People who know nothing about the Bible, they know 666, and they know about the mark of the beast, right? So, this false prophet, he has the appearance of a lamb, but he does what? He speaks like a dragon. He's going to point everyone into the worship of the first beast. And he has the signs like that of Elijah. And so a couple things about the false prophet. His purpose is to point everyone to the Antichrist. His power is the miraculous, just like Elijah. Did you know there's counterfeit out there? You know not everything miraculous that's out there is actually of God. I just have to say that just so we're all on the same page. Not everything is. That's why we're to test the spirits. And his plan is to implement what we call the mark of the beast. All right. I got 9 minutes to tell you what the mark of the beast is. You ready? All right. 666. Did that in 30 seconds. That's what it is. We were just told what it is. 666. The number of man. On the 6th day, humanity was created. Now, we got to be so careful with this one, okay? Because sometimes we look really dumb as Christians when we say things that are totally false. We have to be careful here. We have to be, because I remember you remember when your credit card got that little chip in it? I remember people telling me that was the mark of the beast. And I couldn't use my credit card anymore. So that's really bad news for my wife. You know, that's the mark of the beast. No, it's not the mark. Or you remember, how about this? Some of you are older than me. You remember when barcodes? Barcodes, Christians were emphatic that these new barcodes, what was the barcode? It's the mark of the beast. Well, now everything has what? A barcode. It's not the mark of the beast. We have to be so careful. Even, this is a really funny one. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. In 2020, if you take the number 2020 and you divide it by Joe Biden's campaign number, do you know what you get? 0.666. I had people sending that to me. This is the Antichrist. I said, no, it's not. He doesn't speak very well. He's not the Antichrist, and that is not the mark of the beast. Or those of you who were alive in the 80s, Ronald Wilson Reagan was the Antichrist to many, and they could prove it. Ronald is 6 letters. Wilson is 6 letters. And how many letters do you think Reagan is? He's the most powerful person on the planet. He's the President of the United States. Ronald Wilson Reagan. 6, 6, 6. And we look stupid. I'm just being honest with you. We look ridiculous. We've got to be so careful on this right here and not promote every single theory of what this is, because to be honest with you, I don't think we honestly know. And I don't believe that the third temple has been built. I was in Israel a couple years ago. It wasn't there when I was there. And so we're not at this stage yet. And I know that's contrary to what you hear a lot of times on social media. I'm not saying that we are not in the beginning. And we're seeing, listen, the only chip going in my body is going to be covered in queso or salsa, and that's it. That's it. There's no, but I'm not going to tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I know that that's the mark of the beast. Because if I was to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't like the way it sounds. It sounds a lot like this, but I cannot be arrogant and say I know that's what it is. Some people teach, they still teach it to this day, that the internet is the Antichrist. You want to know why they do it? W. If you take the equivalent of the English W into Hebrew, that letter is the 6th letter in the Hebrew alphabet. So W in Hebrew is 6, 6, 6. You see how foolish we can look. And you say, Pastor, why are you being so harsh? Because we don't know. And an honest answer is the best answer. I don't know. Now, it could be this, and it could be that, but I don't know. And here's what I do know. When it comes to that point, believers will know, because they will not take it, and they will lose their life for it. And so there will be a differentiation. It will not be a toss-up in the air. This could be the mark of the beast. I don't know. No, there will be a definitive. This is it. And believers will know it. And what will they do? They will refuse it. And their refusal, it will mark their death sentence. Now, I want to end on a better note, because so far it's been what? Pretty gloomy, pretty doomy. Let's compare and contrast the Antichrist with the Christ. So what we've been presented with tonight is that the Antichrist is a man of sin, a man of lawlessness. He's very wicked individual. He's a what? A beast. He's a monster on the inside. He's the foolish shepherd. He's, as we said, a beast. And his death and quote-unquote resurrection has the purpose to do what? Deceive people into worshiping the Antichrist. When you compare the Antichrist with the Christ, well, Jesus is not a man of sin. He's completely sinless. He's not a foolish shepherd. He's the good shepherd. He's not a beast, but he's a lamb. His preferred title in the book of Revelation is not lion. It is lamb. And his death was not to deceive people into worshiping him. His death and his resurrection was to save the entire world. Now, here's the thing. It's easy in this season that we find ourselves in the world that we live, because I don't know about you, but the world is crazy. They're worshiping the devil on national television. Like used to, you did that in the closet. Now it's national. The world's crazy, all right? The world's crazy. And it's easy to be looking for this man right here. We can obsess with finding out who the Antichrist is. We can obsess with looking for his coming. But I'm here to tell you tonight, we are told to look for another's coming, and it's not the man of sin, it's not the foolish shepherd, it's not the beast, it's not his death and his resurrection. We are told to be looking for the Christ. Therefore, keep your eyes on the main thing. It's okay for us to come and do a Bible study tonight and learn about who the Antichrist is and all that. It's fantastic, wonderful, and all that. But the main thing has to be the main thing in the life of a believer. My looking is not for the coming of an Antichrist. My looking is for the coming of the Christ. And he's coming back in glory, in power. And that, my friends, that's the good news. Yeah, there is going to be an Antichrist. There are Antichrists, plural. But that's not where my focus is. I'm going to keep my focus on not the counterfeit, but the real deal. And the good news is we already know Jesus is going to handle him. Jesus is going to handle him. He's going to handle him. And that's the good news.